Greetings, fellow mortals, and welcome back to the Warlock YouTube channel. My name is Caloraptor. Other Warlocks gather power while I gather internet cringe. This is something I've been meaning to get into for a while, which is a guide to Dungeons and Dragons. Although I would like to start by talking about problem players, that'll will be after I handle the other heavy lifting, like how to DM or how to make your character, which will be the next episode. Just kidding. I wrote the script before starting the Warlock guide. Whoopsies! Anyway, for today, I'm just going to introduce you to the basics, aka the materials, and you'll be named for IRL D&D stuff, as well as the two websites I use for online D&D. Of course, I cannot forget actually introducing each of the classics is for the base PHP. Haha, I'm joking. I'm making guides for each of them. Then next episode, I will talk about not making how to make your character, because once again, I wrote the script beforehand. But instead, how to play a warlock. And after doing all the and then I would be doing other class guides, like how to play Paladin and all that fun stuff. And then I'll talk about how to make your character, how to RP and do combat, then how to DM, and finally I'll talk about the problem players from RPG horror stories. Also, I have a sort of guide on the base monster manual creatures that'll happen, so look out for that. With all that being said, let's get into our first and most critical material, no matter what. The dice. Yes. There is no better material to start off rambling about Dungeons and Dragons than your dice set. Whether you just have one set, or you lost count of how many you have because you're a dice dragon, this terminology I'll discuss in this part. Not really. Maybe. The dice are the most vital part of any and all TTRPG settings, whether it's D&D or the Fallout tabletop system or Force and Destiny, a Star Wars system. Your dice will see you through thick and thin. Let's start with the smallest, to the ball. That is a joke for all you D100 owners. The first dice we'll be talking about is a D4, or a four-sided dice. This little fucker of a dice will give you the sensation of stepping on a Lego, and it is one of the most common damage dice you'll encounter throughout the game. The D4 is also memed a lot, since wizard players don't see the value in Constitution. That is the joke. Therefore, a D4 is the amount of damage you need to kill a wizard player's character. The next dice is the most common dice you'll see no matter what, is the six-sided dice, or D6. Which, yes, you can find in almost every board game in existence. The D6 is not only a hit die for wizards and sorcerers. What do you know? The two spellcaster classes that are generic minus getting the means of getting their spells. But also is possibly the second most common damage dice you'll ever see. The only way I could see a D6 being the bane of any player's existence is if somebody decides to AKA, did I ask how big the room was? No. I said I cast Fireball. And yes, I'm doing WoW gameplay. Judge me all you want. Which is the most impulsive thing spellcasters could do, and I don't recommend in casting Fireball in a small room. If you do, make sure everyone can tank it. The next dice I shall be discussing is the one that looks like two square-based pyramids glued ass to ass together, aka base to base. That dice is the 8-sided, or the D8. which is I could debate as the first most common damage dice you'll encounter in the game. This is also the most common hit dice for a majority of the classes, including Warlocks. The third dice is kind of a combo. Is the D10 / percentage dice and die. The D10 is which as a hit die is the D10, like most dice, is a damage and hit die. Hold on a moment. Okay. Which, as a hit die, is used for fighters and rangers. Now, onto essentially the same dice, but with more zeros. The percentage dice. These two D10s are the absolute bane of a wild magic sorcerer due to the fact that the percentage dice are used to roll on the wild magic table. I'll go deeper into the wild magic table when I talk about how to play sorcerers. Basically, a class guide, which I already started with Warlocks and need to finish. Anyway, onto the D12, aka kind of another damage dice. Mostly for certain spells like Witch Bolt or a Great Axe's damage. I mean, it is also the hit dice for the absolute tanks of a class known as the Barbarians. Now, on to the dice that is absolutely vital to just about everything in Dungeons and Dragons. The 20-sided dice, or D20. This dice is basically vital to your character creation with doing your attributes, basically all your actions, unless you're playing a wizard and casting magic missile. Haha, auto hit go boom. The D20 determines how your character hits, or whether or not, odd if your character lives or dies because of death saves. Anyway, the next dice is kind of optional and could replace your percentage die, the ball of a dice, that is, the D100. I joke, but seriously, look up an image of the D100 and tell me it doesn't look like a ball in the comments. Now, the next part is the websites for online D&D. So, I'm going to say that after this script, I'll be making the guides to each class before getting into how to make your character and how to DM, etc. I already mentioned this in the intro, but just so you can know again. Anyway, the two websites. The two websites so you could play D&D online with people across the United States or across the world are Roll20 and D&D Beyond. I can't speak much about D&D Beyond because I haven't played a campaign on D&D Beyond at this moment, but I have used Roll20 or R20 is to play D&D before, and I could tell you how good R20 is with playing D&D. Roll20 or R20 for short, or R20 is an online D&D platform that also has many other systems like the Fallout TTRPG system. Anyway, playing on R20 might be difficult, especially if you use Charactermancer. Just edit the sheet directly and you'll be good to go. Wow. That section was a lot shorter than I thought. But still, you know how. Now you know essentially the basics, aka the Dyson website. Tune in next time when I start babbling about my usual main class, the Warlock. See you, fellow mortals, later when we do start talking about Warlocks. Gonna be uploading this vid tonight because right now it is 3:15 and tomorrow it'll actually be released for all of you lovely people. Have fun.